Hi guys, it's Sally. Gosh, it's been almost a year. I think it's been 11 months or maybe a year since I've posted on YouTube, and I thought I'd give you a little explanation about why I've been missing in action. I appreciate you checking back on my channel ever so often, and I hope to get back to regular postings. But the reason I've been out is because I had a major life crisis. I think in one of my last videos I told you guys about the bout with pneumonia that my husband had. He had a really severe case, and while he did get over that particular diagnosis of pneumonia, while they were dealing with all the tests and things for that, and the things that they did with him, testing him and so forth, they actually found stage 4 metastasized lung cancer. We got that diagnosis on April the 1st last year, and that was a Monday, and we he went downhill so lickety-split fast. It was unbelievable. We had no idea that he had cancer. I mean, he was a pretty healthy guy. I mean, he was health conscious, and he worked out every day, and he played golf 2 or 3 times a week. But in the last few months before he got the pneumonia, he was kind of not feeling like playing golf. And so anyway, to make a long story short, they did a biopsy and found the cancer. That was Monday, April the 1st. And by Saturday, the 6th, we lost him. He was in the hospital that week, and then he was gone. And that was such a total shock for all of us that you can imagine how long it took for us. Of course, at first was the funeral and all of those things, and then all the business of it. Those of you that have been through this sort of thing know that it takes forever to get through all of the business and the legalities and all of that. So I dealt with that for a long time. And just let me give you one little hint. If you're married, you go check your accounts right now and be sure that both of you are listed as owners of the accounts, because if you're not on it, they do not want to talk to you. So anyway, that took several months, and so I've really had a good easy time of it, I think. But I have my good and bad days. So I thought I would just give you that little explanation of why I haven't been around for a year, and then tell you that I've finally gotten back in my studio, and I'm going to give you a tutorial that I had promised for before all this happened. And I said that I would show you how I bind my little golden book junk journals. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I have already put the first signature, the back signature in this. I've already sewn it in, and there's where it's sewn in with the buttons. You will see that these buttons are sewn in a way that doesn't have the red. I sewed it in with this red thread. So you don't see red thread running down button to button on the outside of the book. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Now, what I did was I put the buttons on where I wanted them. I placed them on just, here, like this. And I placed those on in the same way, where I figured out where I wanted them. And then I would take one off. And put a little dark mark there so I could see where it goes. And I did that all the way down. So I have now little Sharpie marks where I want to put my holes. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, I made this, for the first signature, I made this little jig so that I could sew it in where I wanted it sewn in. So I put little dots where the buttons go with my marker, marked it with my marker where the buttons go, folded it in half, punched them through. I punched them through, and then I folded them in half, marked the top, and then I knew where to punch holes. Okay, so I'm going to do that for this one I'm going to put this up against the, well, I guess I better mark the top first so I can be sure I don't get mixed up. Top. Okay, I put top on there. All right, now I'm going to mark, I'm putting this in the center at the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to mark where these holes are. Here's one, here's one, this is the next one. The next one goes here, and the last one goes here. Okay, so I have those marked. And now I'm going to move this over because what I'm marking is for the first signature to be sewn in. I haven't gotten it sewn in yet. And yet the book is thick enough as it is, but it's going to be a fat booger. So I have this little it's called Piercing Cradle, and it's from John Neal Books. It's a sweet little thing. It comes apart, it just velcros together, and you can store it very easily. It was created by Sally Robertshaw, and it's from johnnealbooks.com, so if you're interested in it. But it makes a little cradle so that you can put your, I'm going to open this to the middle, if I can find the middle. Yes, here's the middle. And I'm going to turn it over here, and I'm going to put it down and pull out the first page, put it on the cradle in a centered position on the cradle, and then I'm going to put my jig in here, and I'm going to pierce it. Now, you could do several pages at a time. I don't. I like to do each page because I'm really good at messing things up. So then I'm going to put this one in and get it even and put my little jig in there and poke the hole. Oh, got this one. Okay. And then that's the second page. Whoops. I've still got all the... Oh, sorry. I jiggled you to death. I hope I didn't make you sick. Okay, so I'm going to do that with every page. I'm going to pick up every page, put it in the cradle, put the jig on top of it, and punch the holes. Now, I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing because there are a lot of pages. But I just wanted to say that when there's a page that has, let me find one. Well, of course I can't find one. I'm looking. I know it's off camera. Okay, here's one. When you have a page that has, you know, just a partial, like this is an envelope, so it's just partial. So you need to know where you want it, if you want it at the top or the bottom or where you want it. And make sure that that's where then you poke the holes. Okay, so I'm going to take this off video now for a minute and finish poking all those holes, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I've got all the pages punched and I've got them set up here. I used each page and made sure that it was right in the center where I wanted it. Moved it if I needed to. When I came to a short sheet like this little envelope, I just made sure with my little punching jig here that I lined up the holes with the holes that I poked. See, I can see that little hole right there. So that was that hole, and the next one, and the next one. So I just made sure I had the envelope where it comes out in the where the holes are. Okay, so I did that with every page. This little sheet, same way. Just lined up the jig, put this at the top, made sure my holes were where I poked the holes in this are here, and you know, got it all lined up. All right, so now I've got them all set. I'm going to poke the holes now in my cover, and since the spine is not folded in half, I'm gonna have to just poke them through with my awl And let me move these things up so you can see what I'm doing. I have a hard time staying in frame. Okay, all right. I tend to want to get it closer to me. Okay, so I'm going to poke a hole here and poke a hole right where they're marked. I've had them all marked with a Sharpie. And here you may see 2 marks. That's because the first one was going to make the button stick out over the edge, and I didn't want that to happen. So I'm going to check that button again. This is the button, and if I put this, yeah, if I do this hole right that's in line with all the rest, I'm going to do it a little bit to the left of it, just to kind of fudge a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the camera again. I'm doing that with trying to bear down on my awl so hard. Okay, and here's another one. I think I have 5 buttons in each signature, 5 holes. Now let me see if I went through. Yes, I did. I went through. Okay, so I've got the holes ready and I've got the signature ready. Okay, I'm going to take the thread. I've already threaded the needle because that's a hard part for me. And the rule of, I leave a nice tail because I'm going to want to tie this in the middle of the signature. So I leave a tail about the length of the spine, and then I take 1, 2, 3, and a little bit to grow on for the 3 lengths of the spine is enough. I just am leaving some extra so I can tie it together in there. All right, so I'm going to start in the middle of my signature and see if I can find the holes. Okay, so my jig might help me a little bit. Well, I tell you what, let me get this out of the way, please. Out of the way, please. There you go. Now let's get these over here so you can see it. And hope it's in frame. And then I'm going to see where these holes are on this page. Maybe I'm not going to see where they are. I can't. Oh, I can see them on this side. Yeah, I see them. All right. So they're right here. Should be somewhere right in there. Where's my needle? Come here, needle. Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to go down through the top hole, through the top hole, and through the top hole of the next page. And just make sure I'm going through the top hole of every page. You can see how I'm getting things all unlined up. And that happens really with the first station. These holes, these 5 holes where the 5 buttons are going to be sewn on the thing, these 5 places are called stations, sewing stations for the book. And this first station is always the hardest because things are just not together. But once you get a couple of them together, sewn together, then oh, that one is kind of glued. Uh-oh, lost the whole thing. That happens, that happens. I lost the whole thing. This page happens to be glued together to the next page, right? Right. So, actually, yeah, this isn't going to be sewn in until I get back to that hole. So this goes in here. That goes in the first hole there. It already went through. There we go. Next page. Here we are. Next page. And then this page. So we're doing good. Are you still following me? Okay. So I don't have to worry about this one till I get to the next hole. And this one goes in here. And this one goes in here. They all have holes already punched, you know, so shouldn't be too hard to find them. There you go. And there's one. I know you can't see it, but I can see it. I can see this little hole right here. And so I'm going to put my needle right against it and pull that page up over the needle. Whoops. Didn't find the right place. Here we go. Well, I gotta be sure. Where's my little template? It should be right up here. So did I just not get a good hole or what? There we go, I got it. In this page. Doing it by hand is, you know, tedious. Tedious. Okay, and then here comes, I'm almost to the end of the signature for this. First sewing station. Pull that page open. Put, where's this one? Put this one in, and that's the first station. All in there, and now I'm going to leave my tail. I'm going to leave a nice tail to tie with. Okay, so I've got the thread through the first sewing station at the top, and I'm going to put it through the first sewing station of the cover of the spine. So it goes right through that first hole, and I'll pull it out. Keep it from getting entangled everywhere. And I'm going to pull it on out. Just get this lined up where it's supposed to be. Uh-oh. Page turned back. All right. Now, pull this, and that will just get it right down where it's supposed to be. I want to be sure that this tail is still here. Yep. Yep, it's still here. Okay. So, here we go. Now I'm pulling this through tightly, and then I'm going to put the first button on. Hope you can see this. Let's see, which is the first button? I think the red one is the first one. So I'm going to go, this red one has 2 holes. Can you see it? It has 2 holes. So I'm going to go through one of the holes and get it close to the book. Can you see what I'm doing at all? Get it close to the book. And then I'm going to go back through the hole of the button, and back through the hole of the book of the spine. See, you can see, I don't know if you can see, you see the needle there? There, it's coming right back out. That same hole. Right back out the same hole. Now I want to be sure it's tight on there. Yeah, it's tight. Okay, and then I'm going to go back through there we go. I'm through there now, and through here, and through the next couple of pages. I think I can go through. Yep. And then through this page. See, I'm going back through that same top hole that I've been through already, coming out. I just don't want to split the thread. I want to go through beside it. Come on, slip in there. I got it. I do believe I got it. And then I'm going to go back through this one, and through these, and through, there we go, through this page, and that page. A couple of pages at a time are coming now. I promise you, after this first one, it's not this hard. It'll go through several pages at once. Usually. Uh-oh. This is that center page. There we go. There we go. Now we're back to the center. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out. Get it back close down to the cover. I'm going to pull this one tight. That was too tight, too. I'm going to pull this button back out again because I don't want the tail to be, I don't want such a long tail. I want to pull this out. There. Now I can feel with my finger under here that the button's up against the book, and that's what I want. So then I'm going to go over here to the next hole, which I think is, I just want to be sure. Want to be sure where the next hole is. It's somewhere around here. There it is. I see it. Okay, so there's the second hole. Second sewing station. Second hole. Second hole. Now I can go through this one wherever that hole is. There we go. That's through the first hole of that. Through that one. These two through this honky one. Just okay, and through the book page, and then I can go through the first hole of this little card, and first hole of this one, and this one. Yep. Come on. Wants to go through all of them, which is fine with me. Go ahead, go through all of them. Okay, and down to the green page again. The green one. Where is that hole? Where is it? There it is. There it is. And where is this hole? There it is. And this hole getting close to the end. I can tell because I'm at the fabric flip. This fabric flip. Okay, there's that hole. And then the front page, and then back through the spine hole. And I can see it out here. Now this button's gotten loose again, so I'm gonna have to go back and pull on it. This button's gotten loose again. But I'm gonna pull this thread through first. Oops, nearly lost my tail. Don't wanna lose my tail. Okay. So. Now I'm good. Now this is tight again. Now I can feel it's tight again. All right, let me check the center. Just want to be sure that. Where is the center? Hello, where's the center, please? Here we go. Right here. Just make sure everything's going okay. I've got my tail pulled tightly. Got the thread pulled tightly through there. Buttons up against the book. All right, so let's go back. Let's get a button. I think the white button might be next. This white button has 4. I'm going to tell you that's harder because you have to take it up through one, down through the next one. You have to really sew the button all together. Up through this one. I like to leave the strings loose because then I can pull the right ones tight as I go. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. I'm going to go back through the hole in the spine just to get us started here. All right, I'm coming up through the hole in the spine. And I'm going to start pulling this so that it gets tight. Start pulling this button so it gets tight. And you can see that this is already pulled down. And I need to get it up. It's just hard to get all these tight the way you want them. Set this up against here, pull you over so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now I'm trying to get this first string tight against the book, then the second string pulls that down, then I want this one to pull tight. There's my awl. This one to pull up tight. I'm just trying to tighten them up against the book by going one by one. Must have pulled the wrong one. Must have pulled the wrong one. You know, I hate to bore you with this, but sometimes I think it's nice for you to see that I have trouble too. I can't really tell which is which here. Okay, it's getting closer. Getting closer to the book. There we go. Now, I think if I pull, get you back out here. I think if I pull that tight now, it's going to pull the thread up tight. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay. So I'm back through the spine. I have to go back through the pages. Okay. So here we go. Go back through the first one. Page 1, page 2. Am I through page 2? I don't know because I can't see it. Where is it? I know I'm not that far along. You hear me whistling? I have a friend that does that too, and we just crack each other up. We just get to thinking real hard. We start whisper whistling, we call it. I can't seem to find that hole at all. I'm gonna have to stop. Okay, here's what I finally ended up doing. I didn't know that second one was gonna be so hard. So what I did was I went from the inside with this skinnier awl, it's longer but skinnier, and poked the holes all the way through with that until it was sticking out the end, and just made the hole a little larger. I dropped it. I just made the hole a little larger. Let me see. I don't think I was on the screen to show you that. But here, so I just took this and got it through from the inside here and poked it through all the pages back to the cover, and just poked that all the way through till I could see it. And then I made the hole a little bigger, and then when I did that, I could hold on to it and push the needle right through that big large hole of all the pages. And so that's what I did. Okay, all right, so then I've got that in there. Now I've probably gotten the buttons loose on the cover. No, they're tight. All right, awesome. Awesomeness. So now it's time to go back through to go to the next hole, which should be right in here somewhere. Right. And then let me see if I can do that with this awl. There it is. See it poking out there? Now I'm going to make this hole a little larger and hold the pages together and hopefully stick my needle through the same hole. Yep, managed it. Managed it. See, once you get them sort of sewn together, they're not so hard. I'm glad you saw me struggling with that one to show you not to give up. All right, so I'm going to go back through the spine and to the outside of the book. Pull it tight. Pull it tight. Make sure the buttons are still tight. Yep, they're still tight. Okay. And then I've got to put the next button on, which I think is the big one. Yeah, it is the big one. Okay, so the hole I came out was the one that's in line with the rest, which means I've got to come in this side of this two-hole button and make it go down like this, and sew the other one through. I may have to glue this button over where it's supposed to go, but I'm going to try taking this back through the spine. Here I am through the spine. Here I am through the spine. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm struggling over here. Okay, so I've got the button on. Now I need to come back through that hole of the pages, so I'll go to the middle like I did before and push the awl down the hole, down that hole. Am I coming up another? No, I'm going back through this hole, this second hole. So I'm gonna go down through all the pages. I'm just kind of wiggling it so it'll go down through the pages. And I've got it sticking out there, so I'm gonna make the hole as big as I can. Hold the pages together there and hopefully stick the needle back through it. And so I'm pulling it through. Maybe I'm gonna pull it through. I don't know, I don't want to break it. Let me see what's holding it. I might be okay. That's the tail. Too long a tail. Okay, I think I've got it tight actually. That's what I think the deal is. Yeah, that button seems to be tight. So, getting right along here. So I'm going to go ahead and not torture you through the rest of this, where I pick the next hole and the next page and the next page and go on through. It's easier. These are relatively easier to go through. You see here I'm already down to the little envelope, and this one and this one, they're kind of lined up now. So I'm gonna stop here and well, maybe I don't know, it's going pretty fast. Let me see where this hole is. Does this have a hole here? Hope so. Yeah, this is a hole right here and a hole right here. And I don't know if you can see me or not. See that little needle? I love seeing that needle come through. Makes me happy. So the third station for sure has been easier. Uh-oh. As soon as I say that, it screws up again. All right. Now get through that hole. That one. There you go. And then this one. And then the green one. And then this little rabbit pocket one. And then the last page. And there we go. So pull it out. Pull it out, pull it out. Pull it all the way out. Well, boys and girls, I certainly hope my thread's long enough. I'm going to go back through the spine now. Through the hole in the spine for this station. And we'll be ready to put another button on. Okay, so I'm going to spare you the despair of putting the buttons on. These other two are just 2 hole buttons, so they should be relatively easy to slip on and get them tight, tighten them up, go back through the hole, etc. So I'll do all that, and then I'll come back when I'm ready to tie it together. Okay, I'm sorry this video has been in such a piecemeal, but anyway, maybe it won't look that way to you. I'll just keep starting and stopping, but I don't want you to go through a bunch of boring stuff. And then I'm going to tie this. I'm just going to stick it through. I'm going to stick it through one of these just to be different, and I'll stick this one through the same one, the other direction, and then I'm going to pull my needle off, tie my little bow. Actually, I'm going to tie a knot. Well, I'll say I am. And I mean it. I am. And then I'll tie a little bow. You know, you can put charms on these or whatever you want to do. Or you can cut them off and just have them not have a bow. Okay. So, what did I do with the scissors? Honestly, I had a pair of scissors. Here they are. Okay. Cut this off. And there you have it. So, our signature is sewn in. Our buttons are sewn in. There's no string. It was worth every minute of it. Wasn't it? Wasn't it? I hope it was. It's going to close like that with a little hair ribbon thing. I'll have a flip through of the whole book. I just wanted to kind of try to show you, I'm sorry I made such a mess of it, how I sew those on. It's typically very simple, actually, just to come through the book, through the button, back through the book, up, through the button, back through the button, back through the book. It's just not that easy to do sometimes, especially when the book is full. This booker is going to be really huge. And see, I don't even have the inclusions in the first signature because I took them all out. I took them all out. Here they are. A jillion of them that are going to go back in there and puff that book back up. Too bad. But it's one of my favorites, the Velveteen Rabbit. So you'll see it again when I do the flip through, and then at that point I'll list it on my Etsy. I love you guys for hanging around, and if you stayed to the end of this, you are awesome. Love you much. Bye now.